This video is about solving one-step inequalities. For each problem, decide if you need to add, subtract, multiply, or divide to get the variable by itself. Then graph the solution of the inequality. Remember that whenever you multiply or divide by a negative number, you need to flip the inequality sign. So let's look at some examples. Number 1, x minus 4 is less than negative 3. So to solve for x, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to add 4 to both sides, because that's the inverse of subtraction. We get x is less than 1. So on my number line, I'm going to find where 1 is. Because there's no bar, I'm going to put an open circle at 1. And then my arrow is pointing to the left, so I'm going to shade to the left. Number 2, negative 9 is less than or equal to negative 3x. The first thing we want to do is negative 3x means multiplication, so the inverse would be to divide. So we're going to divide by negative 3. Notice that I am dividing by a negative number. When I divide by a negative number, I must flip the direction of my inequality sign. So we have 3, flip my inequality to face to the right now, so 3 is greater than or equal to x. Now, you cannot graph this unless your variable is first. So we're going to do one more flip, and we're going to do x is less than or equal to 3. So I'm going to find 3 on my number line, because there's a bar underneath it. I'm going to put a closed circle, and I'm going to shade to the left. Number 3, s plus 2 is less than or equal to 1. So because it's addition, the inverse would be to subtract 2 from both sides. So we get s is less than or equal to negative 1. So I'm going to find negative 1 on my number line, use a closed circle, and I'm going to shade to the left. Number 4, negative 2 is greater than or equal to x over 2. So if this is a division, the inverse would be to multiply both sides by 2. Because it was a positive 2, I don't do anything with my sign, so it's negative 4 is greater than or equal to x. I don't worry about flipping it. Because x is on the right side and we need it on the left side, now we're going to flip everything. So x and negative 4 are going to switch spots, and my inequality is going to switch the direction it faces. So instead of going right, now it's going to point to the left. So I'm going to find negative 4 on my number line. I'm going to create a closed circle, and I'm going to shade to the left. Number 5, z plus 9 is greater than 4. So I'm going to subtract 9 from both sides. Z is greater than negative 5. So I'm going to find negative 5 on my number line with no bar. That means it's an open circle. And I'm going to shade to the right. Number 6, y over negative 4 is greater than or equal to 1.5. So I'm going to multiply by negative 4. Notice this is a negative number. So whenever it's a negative number, we have to flip our inequality sign. So y is less than or equal to negative 6. I'm just going to add negative 6 on the end of my number line after negative 5. And on negative 6, this should be a closed circle, shade to the left again.